Over the years, one familiar food quietly disappears from many dinner tables, not because it tastes bad, not because the body rejects it, but because people keep hearing that it may raise cholesterol. They see it mentioned in articles. They come across warnings online. They read headlines that make it sound risky. So without much thought, that food is slowly removed from daily meals. What most people never stop to ask is this: what actually happens inside the body when a familiar food is avoided for years? Not in the short term, not on a single blood test, but over time. If you've ever wondered whether this food is helping you or quietly taking something away, stay until the end of this video, because what really happens is very different from what most people expect. Let's slow this down for a moment, because this is where most people get confused. When we talk about cholesterol, many people picture it as something that simply comes from food, but inside the body, cholesterol works very differently. Every day, your liver produces cholesterol on purpose, not by accident, not because something is wrong. Cholesterol is used to build cell membranes. It helps produce hormones. It supports digestion through bile acids, and it plays a role in brain function. So the body doesn't treat cholesterol as something optional. It treats it as something essential. This is why food doesn't work the way people expect. When cholesterol comes from food, the body doesn't just stack it on top. Instead, the liver checks the signal. If enough cholesterol is coming in, the liver often says, "All right, I can slow down," and it produces less. This balancing system works quietly, without you feeling anything at all. That's why many people can eat the same food and see completely different results. On a blood test, one person eats it regularly and their numbers stay stable. Another avoids it for years and still sees cholesterol increase, because the issue isn't just food, it's regulation. Now here's where long-term habits matter. When a food that naturally contains cholesterol is removed for years, the liver doesn't stop its job, it adapts. In some people, the liver gradually increases its own internal production. At the same time, the body may begin to miss other nutrients that food once supplied, not immediately, not dramatically. This happens slowly, week after week, year after year. That's why many people feel confused. They did what they were told. They avoided the food, they made the careful choice, yet their energy feels lower. Their blood markers don't improve. Their body doesn't respond the way they expected. This is not because they did something wrong, it's because the body works as a system, not a switch. In the next part, we'll look at one specific food that often disappears first, and what nutrients quietly leave with it when it's removed from daily meals. Now let's name the food that quietly disappears first: eggs. For decades, eggs were a normal part of daily meals, especially breakfast. Simple, affordable, easy to prepare. But over time, eggs became associated with one fear: cholesterol. So many people stopped eating them regularly. Some cut back to one egg a week. Others removed eggs completely. Not because eggs made them feel bad, but because they wanted to be careful. Here's what often gets overlooked. Eggs are not just a source of cholesterol. They are one of the most nutrient-dense foods in everyday diets. Eggs provide high-quality protein that the body can easily use. They contain choline, a nutrient essential for brain function and memory. They supply fat-soluble vitamins that support hormone balance and cell repair. When eggs are removed for years, it's not only cholesterol that disappears. These nutrients quietly disappear as well, and they are not always replaced. Many people switch to lighter breakfasts: toast, cereal, fruit. These foods may feel safe, but they don't provide the same building blocks. Over time, this change can affect how the body feels. Energy may dip in the morning. Hunger returns quickly. Mental clarity doesn't last as long. Not suddenly, gradually. Now here's something important. For most people, eating eggs does not automatically raise blood cholesterol. The body adjusts. Some people see little change. Some even see improvement in how cholesterol is balanced. Because eggs influence more than one number, they affect satiety. They affect protein intake. They affect how the liver regulates fat metabolism. This is why eggs have been so misunderstood. They were reduced to a single concern, while their broader role in the body was ignored. In the next part, we'll look at what happens when eggs are reintroduced in a balanced way and why timing and quantity matter much more than fear. Now let's talk about the part that actually makes the difference. Not whether you eat eggs, but how you eat them, because eggs don't work in isolation, they work within a context. Quantity matters, timing matters, and what you eat them with matters. For most people, the body responds best to moderate, consistent intake, not extremes. Eating 1 to 2 eggs on a regular basis is very different from eating many eggs once in a while. Consistency allows the liver to adjust smoothly. It avoids sudden spikes. It supports balance. This is why people who eat eggs regularly often see more stable responses than those who eat them randomly. Timing also plays a role. Eggs eaten earlier in the day are used differently by the body than eggs eaten late at night. In the morning, protein supports satiety. It helps stabilize blood sugar. It reduces sudden hunger later in the day. This indirectly affects cholesterol balance because the liver responds to overall metabolic signals, not just a single food. Another overlooked factor is what eggs are eaten with. Eggs combined with whole foods, vegetables, healthy fats, and simple preparation are processed differently than eggs eaten with refined carbohydrates or heavily processed foods. The body looks at the entire meal, not just one ingredient. This is why 2 people can eat the same number of eggs and have completely different outcomes. One feels energized and satisfied, the other feels heavy and uncomfortable. The difference isn't the egg, it's the context. And there's one more thing that often goes unmentioned. When people reintroduce eggs, after avoiding them for years, the body may need time to adapt. Digestion improves gradually. Signals normalize. This is why slow reintroduction works better than sudden changes. Small adjustments, observed over weeks, not days. In the final part, we'll bring everything together and talk about how to approach eggs without fear, without extremes, and with respect for how the body actually works. When you look at everything together, one thing becomes clear: eggs were never the problem. Fear simplified a complex system into a single idea. Avoid this food. Lower that number. Stay safe. But the body doesn't work in isolation. It works through balance. Cholesterol is part of that balance. So are nutrients. So is consistency. Removing a food for years without understanding its role doesn't always lead to better health. Sometimes it simply creates a different imbalance. This is why there is no single rule that works for everyone. The goal isn't to eat more eggs, and it isn't to avoid them completely. The goal is to understand how your body responds when foods are eaten in the right amount, at the right time, and within a balanced meal. When fear is replaced with understanding, choices become calmer, and when choices are calm, the body tends to respond better. If this video helped you see eggs in a more balanced way, take a moment to reflect on how long certain habits have guided your decisions. Small adjustments made consistently often matter more than dramatic changes.